The organic meat sack that runs this channel knows that some of those sponsors don't sponsor us anymore. But I will, until I get a new Patreon sponsor, it's on my list of things to do. I will fix it. What's up? So today's a little bit of a shorter stream. I was looking at my schedule. There's just absolutely no way that I can put a full stream in tomorrow. And I actually consider my subscribers. Because if you don't treat your subscribers like your subscribers, then you forget what the whole point of this is. And it's kind of funny because in just a few minutes, my automatic website will update my content creator article for the day. And I was thinking about that as I was writing the article this weekend and polishing it up. I realized that I have to live, like, I know all the advice, and my biggest problem over the years has been that I know the advice, but I don't follow the advice. And so it was simply a matter of, I have time today to do a little bit of a stream, and I'll do a little bit of a stream tomorrow. But then I was looking at my schedule for tomorrow. I won't even get home until like 10:45. So then I'm going to be sitting there thinking, what do I do? With that said, that's the why. I did do the name What? Why are you talking? I did do the name change over the weekend on last Friday. What the hell? Be right back. All right, I was looking for this. Good morning. So over the weekend, it was very, very interesting. I made a video. Like I do. I make a piece of short form content every day. I put it on TikTok, I put it on my Jalan channel on YouTube, and then I put it on Instagram, which I have absolutely no Instagram followers, but that's okay because I'm not sexy and I don't have big tits and I don't look good in a bikini. So I'll probably never have a lot of Instagram followers. Instagram, you'll probably get pictures of Disney, Universal Studios, food, because I'm fat and I like food, and so on. Well, the video number two, the video that I did was pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I am tired of people that are making content and they don't give two shits at all about the content being wrong. I am at my wit's end with people. So let me just fix this as I gotta fix some. There we go. I am at my wit's end with people making bad content. And the reason why is you cannot explain. So I could spend all month teaching socialism. And I'm saying all month, I could do 3 shows a week, an hour a week. I could give you a signed reading. And at the end of all of that, you would not understand socialism. You would have a good foundation of the introductory to socialism. But people don't understand socialism. They don't understand capitalism. They don't understand that you can have social capitalism. It's not about simplicity. And I had a conversation with who I didn't know at the time. So the video was, this is all the video was.
Hey, so the US buying shares of Intel is socialism.
You say it's socialism, but it's socialism, the costume party. It's really capitalism in disguise. Buying shares of stock in a company doesn't automatically check all the boxes for socialism. The government buying shares of stock in a company doesn't automatically check all the boxes for socialism. Is it socialist? Yes. Is it state-sponsored capitalism? Yes. It's more likely corporate welfare or industrial policy or state capitalism. If you're going to boil down an event to a single talking point, then the truth is you need to say it could be socialism. It could be, and I'm not saying it's not the first domino that could lead to socialism. Socialism requires a lot of things. It requires the government to own and control the means of production. The government, for it to be socialism, the government would have to take over 50.1% of Intel, which they didn't do. They took a 9.9% equity stake in Intel. I'll just let myself talk. Factories, the prices, and the output. That can only happen if the US takes a 51% control of the company and nationalizes it. That's not what's happened here. The US has taken about a 10% equity stake in Intel. And it's important because Intel lost about $3 billion last quarter. They laid off over 5,000 American factory workers, and there's still 15 to 20,000 American factory jobs on the line. So Intel has 15 to 20,000 more factory positions on the line in America. Taking a 10% stake in Intel was a good thing because it means it's August and we do not want Intel to have another bad quarter. And we didn't give them the money, which is perfect. We got an equity stake in their company, which means as they profit, so does the government. And when we sell those shares of stock, we should automatically take any profit we make off of the Intel stock when we sell it, when the government sells it. That should automatically go apply to paying down the national debt. Except the problem is we bleed money so quickly, it wouldn't make a difference. This is about securing America's chip supply chain and protecting American jobs in America. It's not about the government suddenly running Intel. It's not like this is new, and nobody was calling it socialism in the past when we've done this. In 2008, during the bank bailout, the US didn't buy common stock in banks, but they got preferred equity stakes and they got stock warrants in Citibank, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs. Those gained dividends and upside, but the US government didn't take control. So with the rest of that all aside, posted the video because I didn't know who the hell Lexi Doherty was. Nor honestly did I care. I don't want to go after people. I will, but that's not why I make my TikToks. That's not why I make my TikToks. I make my TikToks because I see something that was said wrong and I respond and I stitch. And well, I don't know how to stitch. Well, I do know how to stitch, but I don't know how to stitch from my PC. And I can't make a piece of content one shot. I'm not that good. Maybe, and I probably will try to learn how to use my phone better for TikTok, but I make short form content for YouTube. Well, I was shocked at what happened next. I was absolutely floored. The response I got was from Lexi Doherty. And it says right at the top, Lexi Doherty for Georgia 10th District. Okay, now, first of all, I am going to be the first person to say, I am a nobody in the realm of content creation. I am a nobody. Yes, I'm in the top 2% of Twitch, but that's still a nobody. The who's who of Twitch are the enumerated people. The who's who of Twitch are the people that are in the top 10. So anyway, when I saw this response, I was absolutely, what the fuck? Why would you even respond to and maybe she wants to set the historical record straight. It's an oversimplification for sure, but this is TikTok, not a philosophy lecture. But it's the people owning a share in production. I would put that under the broad umbrella of social ownership. Then why the fuck didn't you say that? If you're a politician, why didn't you say it's social ownership? I said, except act of buying shares in a company isn't socialism. It could be, absolutely, but it's also state capitalism, communism, corporate welfare. I think calling it communism is more incorrect than calling it socialism. Why are you going crazy, Sprocket Brock? Calm down. Real communists don't even believe there should be a state. According the fuck to who, lady? According to who? Because yes, they do. Yes, they absolutely do. It's just they don't view it as a state the way we do. Because when you say communists, which communist are you talking about? Because the stateless system is the end utopia of communism. It is not that communists say we're going to start right at the beginning and be a stateless society. The idea is that you live in communism for so long that your populace transcends their normal understanding of a state. And so there's a crossover where socialism, communism, where at the early days of communism, there is a state, and also a communist nation that is a communist nation that is moving towards utopia is going to have a dictatorship of the proletariat. It ultimately, what it is it's creating to go from a capitalistic society to a communistic society. Marx, Engels, Lenin, they all agree that the fastest way to get there is through a dictatorship, but a benevolent dictatorship, a dictatorship of the people, by the people, for the people. It's not a bad idea. But in early communism, you have state workers. That means the workers come together and they seize the means of production. But what scares the shit out of me, right? Communism is fucking terrible. Communism is fucking terrible. Anybody who thinks communism is good, communism is fucking terrible. You don't want communism. What you want is you want to carve out a piece of the communism pie, a piece of the socialism pie, and then you want to live in a representational government where the elected representatives hold true to communistic and socialistic ideas. But yeah, my day is going well. I gotta go have all my I have to have nerve testing done today, which is gonna be a bitch. But what scares the shit out of me is that when you turn around and then you say, if you're a politician and you say, real communists don't even believe there should be a state. For the record, my job is to bring people along into the opposition movement. I agree that being accurate is usually important. I'm a nerd myself and care about the philosophy and the details. But the truth is most people don't, and if you're splitting hairs about state ownership versus socialism, you're not talking to anyone new. What the fuck do you mean? You're running for office. You're running for office and you say, I agree that being accurate is usually important. Okay, as a politician, when the fuck is being accurate not important? And so I thought that this person probably had like a campaign manager and would probably stop. Communism might be okay if, and that's a big if, people were actually all altruistic. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Correct. You cannot go from capitalism. Well, let me remind everybody that capitalism is an economic model. It's not a governing model. There are forms of capitalism that can be a governing model when you take, say, state-sponsored capitalism, and then you run the country like a corporation, instead of running the country as a democratic republic. But you cannot go from capitalism to communism. You can't. It's you must follow Marx and Engels, and you need to go from capitalism to socialism, from socialism to communism. What scares the shit out of me about this woman was this woman literally doesn't get it. You said your job is to bring people into the opposition movement. That's not education. That is persuasion. And persuasion without accuracy is not teaching. It's fucking indoctrination. My goal is different. I don't want to indoctrinate you into anything. I don't want to indoctrinate you into anything. What I want to do is I do want to indoctrinate you into something. If I'm being honest, I want to indoctrinate you into something. I want to indoctrinate you into education. I want you to pick up a book, read 2 books. I want you to read books, and every time somebody says like something dumb, I want you to turn around and I want you to challenge it. This individual, I want people to have a full, unbiased understanding of government and economic models. That's what I want. Even if those lessons are difficult, inconvenient, or painful. This is not splitting hairs about state ownership equals socialism. That distinction matters because state ownership can exist in capitalism and socialism, and even in theocracies. Anyone who wishes to blur that line has an agenda of misrepresenting reality. But what's terrible is she's gonna get worse, right? She is running for government. Are you happy with the Trump administration? I actually can't tell. Maybe that's your thing. What the motherfuck does my opinion of the Trump administration have anything to do with the fact that you misrepresented socialism? And then look at what she says. I don't want this to continue. I'd like some guardrails. That's my primary focus. I still don't think I've said something incorrect. If you ask 10 people to define socialism, 5 people won't be able to, and the other 5 will have different answers. My focus isn't an intellectual exercise. It's to flip a seat, and I need to communicate in a way that most of them can understand. She literally knows she's saying it wrong. She has literally said, this is the fucking start of a dystopian future, ladies and gentlemen. This is the start of this. That somebody who is running for politics knows that 10 people, she fucking knows. Yeah, the entire world can say the sun isn't hot, but that doesn't make it right. You are saying 5 of 10 people don't know what socialism is, so you just lied to them. And she keeps going. She keeps going, and it gets fucking terrible. So you would prefer everyone use your personal language standards, regardless of the cost. I didn't write, I wish I was on the intellectual level of Marx and Engels. I really do. Not on their beliefs, not on their philosophies of the other parts of that those individuals advocated for, but on the economic model. I wish I was on that level. I'm not saying the ends justify the means to win an election, but if you think using language differently in this specific case is actually harmful, I think you've got your priorities wrong. Enjoy talking to yourself. I'll be actively trying to improve our situation. And for the record, you responded to was about Trump. You know, arguably the most important individual in the world right now. Apologies for thinking it's relevant. You thinking Trump is relevant is great because the rest of her video was a fear-mongering video. Remember, I told you the way you win a political election is simple. If you want to run for politics, this is the only thing you need to know. If you want to get people to vote for you, all you have to do is listen to them, listen to their complaints, tell them stories about an easier time, take their concerns, tell them who's to blame for it, and make them afraid of it. She continued on, and at that point I said, you know what? I'm no longer going to engage. I'm just going to make long-form content at that point. So I have a long-form piece of content in the works. I've got the article written, but I wrote the article in the third person. Because I tried writing in the first person and it looks like an attack on her. So I wrote it in the third person. We're fucked, ladies and gentlemen. This is a person running for Congress who doesn't care about anything but flipping the seat. She made a TikTok account because she's like, I think she's 32 years old. She's like, I'm 32 years old. I'm still paying student debt. And as I researched this person, right? As I researched her, I went to her website, right? I wanted to know what her platform was. I wanted to know what she stands for. And what she stands for is hypocritical bullshit. Why are there two of you? And why are one of you on my head? Issues. Lexi believes in pursuing policies that really help uplift rural areas. Prioritizing education. Your priority for education is that you want to use people's ignorance, you want to weaponize their ignorance, so that instead of saying something to them that is uncomfortable and saying, okay guys, you keep saying socialism to me, and I need to break it down. That's not socialism. It could be socialism. Because how hard is it to say it could be socialism? How hard is it for you to actually go after it in a way that makes sense? I don't understand why we continue to bail out companies. Wait, but I do understand why we continue to bail out companies. So I can't go that direction with it. We're bailing out companies so we don't lose another 15 to 20,000 high-skilled tech jobs. Because what don't we have in this country? We don't have an abundance of high-tech chip-making jobs. So we can't... If those 15 to 1,000 jobs from Intel get lost, then those people will have to find new careers. I'm so worried about the future of America, and I genuinely am. Because, remember, I was retired. I was fat. I was happy. I played video games all day. I went to medical appointments. I went for walks. I wasn't writing politically. I'm back to writing politically, and what the fuck did y'all do to the world for 20 years while I was in the military and then 8 years retired? What'd y'all do? Who the fuck was minding the store? Who was minding the kitchen? Why is the water boiling over off the edge of the pot? Why is the dog eating the steak? Why do we have fucking roaches and rats in the kitchen? The rats in this example are the fucking politicians. What happened to statesmen? What happened to people on par? Like, I get it. People don't like Obama because of what? He's a Republican? Or, I'm sorry, he's a Democrat. The Republicans don't like him because he's a Democrat. Ignorant ass, bigoted, racist motherfuckers don't like him because he's black. They spent his whole presidency, the Kenya thing, the Hawaii thing, the birth certificate thing. Look, motherfuckers. He put his right hand on the Bible. On the Bible. He raised his right hand. He repeated after the Chief Justice. That was it. That was the end of the discussion. What were you going to do? Impeach him? He'd already been sworn in. Instead of getting behind him, we're at a point right now in American politics where nobody wants to be reaching across the aisle because everybody just wants to be mad. We're living in a country, and here's the thing. I get that Governor Newsom wants to speak out against ICE. And he can. He's a politician. He wants to be a statesman. He can make those speeches. I disagree with the way the Trump administration is handling the deportation of illegal aliens. But as the governor, he cannot legally interfere unless he wants to be the first governor to kick off the Second American Civil War. Governor Pritzker in Illinois and the Mayor Johnson of Chicago, they cannot say we're going to harbor illegal aliens. The Constitution is clear on this point. And for everybody that doesn't get it, the Constitution is the rule book. The Constitution is in Monopoly. If you roll doubles 3 times, you don't get to walk your third doubles and then go to jail. The moment you roll doubles, you go directly to jail. Well, that's a stupid rule. That's a different discussion. Had a conversation with somebody on my TikTok or on my whatchamacallit, YouTube Shorts channel. And what the person said was, I said the reason why you pay property taxes is because property taxes do these all 20 things, right? We do these all 20 things. And somebody said, but they're not doing those things. But that's a different discussion. It's not, what do property taxes pay for public schools? Yes, that is one of the largest sources of funding for public schools. It's not about whether or not the property taxes are paying for the schools. What it's about is property taxes are supposed to fund the schools. Yes, no. Are the schools doing a good job? Yes, no. If it's August 25th, my kids are supposed to be in school, or my kid is supposed to be in school. My kid is in school. My kid is literally in school today. The school is open. So the property taxes did their job. The fact that the schools suck ass, that's a different discussion. I get that people are angry. I get that people are disenfranchised. I am not saying don't be angry, and I am not saying don't be disenfranchised. But we have got to get past this idea that we can just burn the whole system down. If people want to burn the whole system down, I guess that's fine. What's up, Flame? If people want to burn the whole system down, I guess that's fine. But remember, there's a reason why the bottom of the food chain is the bottom of the food chain. They don't have the education level necessary to suddenly become the top of the food chain. And they don't have the education. They don't have the training. They don't have the knowledge base. At the end of the American Revolutionary War, why were the individuals that were the leaders picked as the leaders? Because they were already the colonial leaders. You fought an entire revolution to have basically the same people telling you what to do. People saying property taxes are unconstitutional. Where the motherfuck did you get that idea? The colonies had been operating under property taxes since the early 1700s. I think it was 1634 that Massachusetts started with property taxes. Rome, Greece, Egypt had property taxes. Property taxes have been the primary form of taxes on this planet since William the Conqueror in 1086. Property taxes suck. I'm not saying they're good. I'm not saying property taxes are good. And there's some solutions. Would I like to get rid of all the social programs? Well, which me are you asking? Because if you're asking the capitalist framework guy, then yeah, I want to get rid of all of them. But if you're asking the humanitarian, then no. Social wealth, like, are there some good people that need to be on benefits? Yes. I agree. There are some good people that should be able to get benefits. But are there people that are on their third generation welfare recipients? Yeah. Lazy breeds lazy. Look, I know what it's like to go to bed hungry. I think some programs, well, hold on. Let's do this. Let's see if this. I think some programs need to be there or there will be anarchy, but there is a lot of abuse. These people are the ones who need to be filtered. Yes, I am not saying that every single person that's on welfare is a piece of shit. I'm saying that there are some pieces of shit on welfare. I'm not saying everybody that needs accommodations at their job is a lazy piece of shit. I'm saying there are some people that rampantly abuse the Americans with Disabilities Act. And the problem is, you'll notice that my viewership just dropped a bunch because I said something inflammatory. You know which people just left? The pieces of shit. Because the pieces of shit are like, I feel uncomfortable when people talk about it. The problem is, if you get uncomfortable with people talking about eliminating social programs, it means you're not 100% certain you should be on the social program to begin with. And we have turned everything into a conflict. We have an adversarial legal system. We have an adversarial tax system. We have an adversarial political system. Why should I jump up and care? There's imposter syndrome too, absolutely. But we're living in a world where the number of followers you have somehow determines whether or not you're right. Well, the problem is, I'm never going to follow the masses, or I'm never going to have the masses following me, because I'm constantly going to be correcting my masses, because I want to educate people. I want you to know more about what you don't know. Like, I want Starship Troopers. I want Starship Troopers. I want our TVs to have the would you like to know more? And when you're talking about a topic, I would love for TVs to somehow have the ability to be touch screens. Would you like to know more? Yes, I would. But the problem is, I don't want CNN's spin on it. When was the last time you watched CNN, Fox News, MSNBC? When was the last time you watched any of them and you got the news? What you're getting is editorial spin. I don't want you to editorialize it for me. You live in a city where they said they'd harbor illegal immigrants. I'd look to move out. My tax dollars are not going to fund that crap. And right. And here's what's terrible. You have poor people, poor Americans protesting removing illegal immigrants. At the same time, those same people are saying they're begging the government to lower prices, lower housing prices. Well, what do you think is going to happen to housing prices when you reduce the demand? Remember, price is determined by supply and demand. If you increase the supply and you reduce the demand, that is the only time we know price will drop. All of the US media is a scam. It's not all a scam. It's all political spin. It's all political spin. Obviously, according to Trumponomics, the price will go up. Right. But now, like, I have so many TikToks that I want to respond to. A guy said, because the median household cost is $416,000, the minimum wage needs to go up to $66 an hour. Are you fucking stupid? Why are you comparing the bottom of the standard deviation curve to the middle of the standard deviation curve? You don't have free media either. Stop it. Stop it. You live in a Western country. You don't have free media. You don't have free media at all. You know what you have free media about? In Europe, you have free media about the United States because they don't have to put political spin on the shit that we do because the shit that we do is ridiculous. But you don't have free media about yourself. And I'm saying this as a dual citizen. I'll tell you how I do. Yeah, you've never seen the BBC. Holy shit. What I do, and some people have been horribly offended by this. When I get up in the morning, my very first news website is Al Jazeera. Why Al Jazeera? Because they don't have to make shit up about us. The shit we do is sensational enough. They don't have to lie about us. What more do they have to add to the story that the President of the United States is sending military troops into democratic cities? Because that's a fact. What spin do they need to put up on that shit? None. You don't have to spin that. Not if you're reporting news, just notable events. And I know news doesn't stand for notable events, but news, notable events, weather, and sports. I like that acronym. It's not the true acronym, but I like it. Just give me the notable events, give me the weather, and give me the sports. I look at Al Jazeera. Then I look at the BBC. And between looking at Al Jazeera and looking at the BBC, I get a list of stories that I want to look at. I read theirs, and then I look at AP News and NPR News. Al Jazeera literally just posts shit like, look at what the fucking Americans are doing now. We need to take back the intellectual pipelines in America. We have got to stop this bullshit of we have to respect everybody's point of view. I do not need to respect your point of view. I have to respect your right to have a point of view. I do not need to I don't need to listen to it. I do not need to listen to your point of view. I need to respect your right to have it. But you can't make me listen to it. They should make a statistics news channel. All they do is report stats for people and then maybe give some interpretation. No, because figures lie and liars figure. Stats do not tell a story. I like the direction you're going. With they should make a stats news channel. Here's what they should do. They should go back to having a blotter. I might watch that for a condensed place to see a set of stats without having to dig for them. But the problem is bias is in stats as well. Because how you frame the statistic is so important. I'll give you a great example. So people that aren't looking at the details of the graphic see this graphic. I hate when I do that. So people that aren't looking at the details of this graphic, they're not looking at the details too close. And what they see is the graphic is put together like this. And you take a blotter, just a list of events. So what you see here is Republican cities versus Democratic cities in providing homeless shelters. And you look at this and you see this gap. Or sometimes the gap will be even worse. Sometimes it'll show like this, right? And what we're doing is we're talking about the number of people, right? We're talking about the number of beds in the city in homeless shelters versus the number of homeless. The problem is this is 98%, this is 97%, this is 95%, but that chart looks so much worse. But it has to do with what's on the y-axis. You've charted it and zoomed in. It's data manipulation. It's figures lie and liars figure. In Canada during the last election, the polls were being paid to skew the narrative to the liberal propaganda. So I boycotted all the polls. Now the same liberal polling companies are putting an opposite spin so they can stay relevant to the people against the liberal government. I'm like, fool me once, bros. Well, here's the problem with polling. In a country as large as the United States, you cannot extrapolate any relevant data unless you have 3.3 million respondents. And even then, it doesn't give you a large enough pool of the population. I see polls based on what Donald Trump's approval rating is, and the total number of people surveyed is less than 1,000. Dude, 1,000 people extrapolated for a population of 330 million? The size of the toilet paper of the margin of error that 1,500 people represent or 1,000 people represent, you couldn't wipe your ass with it. You're talking about a fractional. Shit, man. I'll say it this way. You could ask 20 million Republicans for the job approval rating of Donald Trump, and depending on which caucuses inside the Republican Party you find, Donald Trump might have a 30% approval rating inside the Republican Party. Who are you asking? Then you ask 1,500 people? Shit. There's more than 1,500 people in my small ass town. You could ask my town, and if you ask the wrong, if your data set, how do you get an appropriate data set of 1,000 people? I'm kind of certain that if I mapped out like straight white, gay white, bisexual white, transgender white, and I went like 5 more and just created those categories. So let's say we create 7 sexual orientation categories. Well, let's just do it. Hold on. Let's not fuck about with it. Let's just see if we do it real quick. Let's just do it real quick. So we create 7 sexual orientation categories, and then Black, white, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Asian, Native American, all others. That's another 7. And then we do education level. And then we do did not complete high school diploma, GED, some college, undergraduate degree, post undergraduate, graduate, postgraduate, doctorate. So that's 10. Veteran status is veteran, retired, medically discharged, left naturally, dishonorable, or other. So that's 5. Political party, 3. Democrat, Republican, other. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, Middle Eastern, or other. That's another 7. No, we did that, right? Because I copied that twice. That should have been race. Let's just see. 7 times 7 times 10 times 5 times 3. Just with these categories, there are 7,350 boxes. Well, why do you need people that represent all 7,350 of those combinations? Well, don't you think that if you ask transgenders make up less than 1% of the country, so what's your likelihood of getting even one transgender in your poll of 1,500 people? If your poll involves transgender anything, you need to have transgender opinion represented in your poll. So if you created all the possible combinations, you have 7,350 combinations. If your poll has less than that number, you haven't even given everybody who has an opinion a chance. Every combination isn't in there. And yet people will run off at the Trump had a 2% increase in approval rating. Trump had a 2% increase in approval rating over the weekend because of the people that were at home, because they didn't have to worry about getting groceries. Meanwhile, you call your phone calls were on Sunday, and all the poor people, they were off trying to go to food pantries after church on Sunday and get groceries for their kids. Do you think maybe the poverty economic might have had something to do with why you couldn't necessarily get a representational poll? The polls, election polling is bullshit. I have never told the truth to a person on election day who polls me when I walk out. I have always lied to them. I always lie to them. Why? Because we should not be reporting polling data on election day. It's a stupid fucking thing. Because it's perfectly spelled out in the Chris Rock movie Head of State, where they start reporting that a black man is going to win the presidency to try to get out the California vote. What do I think about the military takeover of Chicago? I think you're a fucking idiot, and I'm going to continue to call you a fucking idiot until you stop being a fucking idiot or you stop coming here. The military's not taking over Chicago. You absolutely don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're an embarrassment to Americans. You're a fearmonger, and you literally can't do a proper Google search. The military's not taking over Chicago. The military didn't take over DC. Did the military remove the mayor? No. Then how'd the military take over DC? Oh, you mean presence of force has positive outcome? You mean there might be a reason why when we're in foreign countries why did you guys show up in the small town with a 30 truck convoy? Well, because on top of each one of those trucks is a deuce and a half. Is Ma Deuce. On top of each one of those vehicles is Ma Deuce, 50 caliber machine gun with 9 belts of ammo. You think anybody's gonna kick off any shit right now? No, because we just brought enough firepower to level your fucking whole population. By the way, we'd like to talk to you guys. But when you don't want them apprehensive, you leave 27 of the vehicles out on the perimeter of their town and you roll in with 3 because you've had successful conversations with them in the past. Show of force works really well. The problem with the show of force, it's a double-edged sword. When you create a show of force, you create a force that can be opposed. When we get, if you remember the scene in V for Vendetta, this is where we are. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Yeah, I'm happy for you. You read MSNBC.com, you dumb fuck. Now, why are you reading an article that says military takeover of Chicago for weeks as Trump threatens Baltimore? The fuck is wrong with you? What? Honestly, I mean this. What is wrong with you? You come here all the time and you bring fucking MSNBC articles. And why? You know they're bullshit. You're too fucking dumb to even address today. I got more important shit on my mind than you today. The military is going to go into some cities to clean up crime. Because do you think the criminals are going to fucking hang out when the military is there? Do I agree with it? No, I think it's a dumb fucking idea. If I was still active duty, I would probably be a colonel at this moment. And if I was ordered to put together a contingent of men to go to men and women to go to Chicago, I would not do it because it is illegal, because it is posse comitatus. With that said, if he uses the National Guard, that's fine. What he's doing is not legal because he's using National Guard from other states. Governor Pritzker has every right to activate the National Guard of Illinois to defend Chicago from the National Guard from other states. But where the fuck does that get us? What it gets us is idiots like you who are repeating a narrative that is not true. The government is not going into Chicago to remove the mayor or to remove the alderman or to run the shit. They're going into Chicago to clean up the filth, to arrest illegal immigrants, to get rid of drug dealers, to get rid of pimps, to get rid of sex traffickers. Are you upset that they're going to get rid of your favorite prostitute? Are you upset that they're about to get rid of your favorite sex trafficking organization because you only buy your little kids on Tuesday? What exactly about cleaning up crime in this country are you pissed about? If you say I'm mad about the way they're doing it, great. If you say you're a military, you don't want to talk about the problem that we have fucking crime in Chicago. Shit, I lived there. In fact, do I have the Here There Be Dragons fucking meme? I think I might. I might have it. Somebody asked, they were going to Chicago once, and they asked me about Chicago. Oh, I do, right? Somebody asked me about Chicago once. And they said, could you please explain where I can and cannot go in Chicago? And I said, yeah, that'll be easy. Explaining where you can and cannot go in Chicago is easy. You see that area where it says no, what the fuck, and Here There Be Dragons? Don't go there. And everybody who lives in Chicago knows, don't fucking go there. Even the fucking people who live in those parts of Chicago will say, don't fucking come here. So if you literally have block after block after block, real shit, no bullshit story. I left a White Sox game once, and there's a way to get back on the expressway, and it was blocked off by the cops. And I always leave in the ninth inning because I don't want to spend 2 hours getting out of the parking lot. I'll listen to the ninth inning on the radio. And so I got out of there, and as I'm going the direction I know where the off-ramp is, the on-ramp is, there's 4 squad cars. And one of them walked up to me and said, sorry, you can't go this direction. And I said, why not? And they said, because we're no longer allowing people to go this direction, because each and every time people go this direction after a White Sox game, there's crime, there's carjackings, there's people getting robbed. It's a fucking mess. Go that way. And I said, cool. And then the guy's like, so the game's almost over? I said, yeah. He's like, okay. So they started moving up so they could do traffic marshaling to send people a direction. When you have a part of your fucking city that you don't let people go into, you are fucking Demolition Man, and you have Simon Phoenix has taken over a part of your city. That's fucked up. Now, what we have with fucking the National Guard going into towns, this is unfortunately what we have. We have this powder keg of a situation.
Bloody hell, stand down! Stand down!
Oh, hold on.
Enemy is approaching fast. Requesting orders. General, what should we do?
There's no response from command. Or from party leader Creedy. Or from the High Chancellor.
Why are you doing this?
Because he was right.
About what?
That this country needs more than a building right now. It needs hope.
Bloody hell, stand down! Stand down!
Now, do you honestly believe that in the state of this country right now, that if you're that there are young men and young women who, because it's not going to be colonels and generals going to Chicago, it's going to be captains and lieutenants, and they've been given orders. All it's going to take is for one dumb motherfucker to shoot at American military personnel. It's going to be one dumb motherfucker who thinks it's a good idea and a good place and a good time to organize a rally and march against these National Guard. And guess what? There's a lot of individuals saying, oh, well, the National Guard won't be able to shoot you because they're in green arming status. Green arming status is you don't have a round in the chamber and your magazines are empty. I will tell you right now, as a former officer, if I was forced into that situation, because I was almost forced into that situation one time, my primary responsibility upon being given a lawful order is the protection of the men and women under my command. You want to protest the military base? Stay your ass about 100 yards away from it and protest. You start encroaching on the gate, and we have to take a couple of truckloads of people out to the fucking gate. My people were armed. My people were told you do not chamber around, because that if there's no round chambered, there's no chance of accidental discharge. But no, if we set up a powder keg, it's going to be one asshole who's inadvertently smoking that causes this to all blow up in our faces. And that's the flaw. That's the problem. But nobody, you got the politician like the one I showed at the beginning of the show who wants to talk about, well, I have to talk in whatever language necessary to flip a seat. Well, it's not Ender's Game. It's not that we won and that's all that matters. How we win matters. All these people talking about how both sides of the party have the same rhetoric. Well, we've been polite and we've been nice and nobody has taken us seriously. Yeah, if you're called to do this, you protect the people under your command. If they encroach and they get shot, it means they fucked up. Again, I don't say it's right. And I would not want to be on active duty right now. I would not want to be one of the active duty units that's being considered to be cut under the National Guard. But if you get there and then shit goes sideways, you're going to be in a situation like Samuel L. Jackson in the movie Rules of Engagement. Waste the motherfuckers. They were killing my Marines. Waste the motherfuckers. You got 1,400 men unloading off deuce and a halfs and they're taking fire. Waste the motherfuckers. Because this country has lost its fucking mind. The Democratic Party says we need to fucking be an armed rebellion against the Republican Party. Well, let me ask you this, motherfuckers. Why is it if the Democratic Party controls all the most lucrative cities, why is it then the Democratic Party isn't the party of the wealthy? Why is it that the Republicans can win any elections? If you got all the right fucking ideas, why do you lose so goddamn always? Republican Party, if you're the fucking party of the money, Why aren't you winning where the money is? Well, because the Democratic Party has allowed those places to be overrun with those on poverty and those on aid. So great. You have a fucking majority in both houses right now, and you control the presidency, and your Supreme Court is stacked with Trump supporters. Then why the fuck aren't you passing bills? Why is the best thing we got the big, beautiful bag of bullshit, and it wasn't even a bill? It was a continuing resolution. Pritzker accused Trump of trying to start a crisis. Hold on, let me help you out. Why the fuck did any Democrat vote for JB Pritzker when the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party of the blue collar worker, the heart and soul, the fucking hard worker, the dirty workers, and JB Pritzker is a fucking billionaire? Why the fuck did the Democratic Party elect him? Does he have some good ideas? Sure. This motherfucker, he wanted to put a fucking tracker device in every Illinois citizen's car so that we could charge them 30 cents a mile that they drive. Suck my ass, man. We already pay the second highest taxes at the pump. Just because you can't manage your state, just because you opened 299 construction projects, just because you have over 60 continuous miles from Southern Illinois to Tennessee under construction, and now you need more money? Suck a dick, man. You're a fucking billionaire who wants to raise taxes on the poor? You can, I would say kiss my ass, but it doesn't get the point across. You can slurp my hole. Fucking billionaire Democrat? You don't give a shit. We could fix all the goddamn problems in Illinois. But why is it that Newsom has an opinion about the federal government? Pritzker has an opinion about the federal government. DeSantis has an opinion on the federal government. Ready? Why don't you fix your own fucking states first? If it's so fucking easy, if your policies are so fucking good, then why don't you fix your state with them? Why don't we have a situation where one of these governors does such an amazing job that the whole nation calls out, you fixed Illinois, now fix the country? Because you are being lied to and you suck it up every drop. You're slurping the straw to get the very last drop. Pritzker accused Trump of trying to start a crisis. What do you mean start a crisis? Chicago wasn't already in crisis? Oakland, Atlanta, Detroit, Southside Philly, parts of Boston, parts of Orlando, all of fucking El Paso, parts of Corpus Christi. Shall I go on? Portland, other sections of Oregon, most of Oklahoma. We aren't already in a crisis? We got to get over this bullshit. We got to stop being confrontational. Yeah, they just called it out now that Trump has decided to stop it. Now, again, is it legal? No. Should he be doing it? No. Do I want to bitch slap him with a tuna fish because he's sending the military into an American city without being asked by the governor, and the governor is doing it without being asked by the mayor? Yeah, I want to bitch slap everybody with a fucking tuna. We have laws for a reason. Let's follow them. If the laws suck, let's change them. If Posse Comitatus is a terrible fucking law, then let's change it, because it's not a constitutional amendment. It should be. When I rewrite the Constitution after the revolution, because you fuckers are all stuck with me, I'm going to put Posse Comitatus right into the new Constitution. It's going to say, the role of the federal government is to The role of the federal government is not to Yeah, I changed my name. I got a blog article on why I changed my name. Boxing match between Pritzker and Trump. Why? Trump's like a half a step from death. Have you seen Trump's hands? Have you seen his fingers? Have you seen the skin patterns? Have you seen the clubbing? He's soon to die. Donald Trump is soon to die of natural causes. He's got all sorts of health issues. He's got swelling in his feet. All those things are indicative of health problems. And how do I know that? Because I had the same fucking health problems. That's why I gotta depart here in a few minutes. It's a short show today. I just wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure, like a good streamer, I wanted to go live at the normal time. Normally 10 o'clock's my normal time. I can't stay long. I gotta drive into town, but I wanted to go live so that I could piss on the light pole so everybody knows this is my light pole. Yeah, the old one real quick. Paradox Gaming Network is a brand, not a person. I had never planned to start talking about politics. And then I started talking about politics. And now I'm gonna get up to my elbows in politics because it needs to be done. If I can change the minds of 10 people on 10 issues, then I've done my job. Then I've done my job. But we're living in a world that's just absolute utter bullshit. And there's no fix. And there's not going to be a fix because people don't even want to talk about the problem. They want to talk about their part of the problem. They want to talk about they want to talk about what's wrong with them. Look, I wrote an article about helping get veterans off the street. Right? That's all I want to do. I want to help get veterans off the street. And what somebody said to me was, well, you know that there's more non-veteran homeless than there are veteran homeless. And my response was, oh, okay. What does that matter? And they said, oh, well, I just wanted to let you know that you're focusing on the veterans, but we need to get rid of the 40%. I said, hey, guess what? There shouldn't be one veteran that is homeless on the street. So let me help you out with helping you out. If we got rid of all of the homeless vets on the street, right? If we got rid of all the homeless vets, then all the money for all the 11% of the money that's going to help the veterans could stay in the homeless system. And what it could do is it could help other people. I'm not saying get the veterans off the street and then unfund them. I'm saying there's money allotted to them in the VA system. So let's get the homeless off the street, take care of them with the VA money, and then leave the other money on the streets for the homeless, because we shouldn't have homeless people. We should not have homeless people to begin with, but we do. And when you try to talk to them, everybody wants their problem to be fixed first. The problem with trying to fix everybody's problem first is that then nobody's problem gets fixed. And you know, taking anyone off the street is a good thing. Yeah. Getting one person off the street is a good thing. But they don't see it that way. And unfortunately, politicians don't want to get anybody off the street. Politicians don't want to get anybody off the street because once they get somebody off the street, then if they were a one-issue voter, then now they might vote for the other party. So I can't fix your problem. I have to tell you they're to blame for it. Jalan's to blame for it. I'm to blame for what? What exactly am I to blame for? Somebody said it's my fault that Ashes of Creation is going to be a failure. Holy shit, my nobody channel? Like 6 months ago, that same person had said I'm a nobody who's irrelevant. But then you don't like one of the pieces I did, and now all of a sudden it's my fault. Having been homeless is a big stigma from overwhelming majority of people that the homeless are bums and leeches who are too lazy to solve their problems. The reality is that the majority of homeless people are people that thought through some way or another got screwed over. Whether it's by their own health, by family, or by other ways, they have fallen into a pit they can't crawl out of. Right, and here's my response to that. I am not saying that every single person I'm not saying that every single person who is homeless didn't make bad choices. There are some people who are homeless who did in fact make bad choices. We shouldn't punish them for the rest of their life because they made a bad choice. We should be in a society that is willing to say, I recognize your bad choice. Now, should there be an infinite number of I'm sorries? No, there shouldn't be. There should be, or an infinite number of it's okays? No, there shouldn't be. There should be this thing called personal accountability. If you fuck up, right? If you fuck up, then you should be told that you fucked up. It's kind of like this. I will help anybody quit their addiction to drugs or alcohol one time. I will help anybody quit their addiction to drug or not anybody, but anybody in my personal life. I will tell anybody, I will help you. I will be there. I will go to the meetings. I will go to AA. I will go to NA. I will go to whatever you need. I will be with you every step of the way one time. But when you start making decisions that are going to lead you to go the wrong way, then I'm going to tell you, if you keep making these decisions, you don't want my help because you don't want to help yourself. For example, you're trying to quit drugs, you're trying to quit alcohol, but you still want to go to the strip club. No, because you're going to drink because you're at the strip club. But I still want to see titties. That's fine, but at where you're at in your rehabilitation, you don't have it under control enough to go to the strip club. Well, you can't tell me what to do. You're absolutely right. I can't tell you what to do. But you know what I can do? What I can do is I can tell you, you can't tell me that I'm contractually obligated to support you. I didn't agree contractually to support you. What I agreed to do is I agreed to help you as long as you were helping yourself. Yeah, if you're an alcoholic and you're in the early stages of recovery, don't go to the bar, because a strip club is a bar with titties. Absolutely right. But everybody expects, like, expecting help is one thing, and then dictating how I help is another. Like, you don't want to be told that you might have to make some hard decisions in life. Well, I'm sorry. You don't want to, like, the guy that turned around, and I'm going to have a field day with this guy. He said, hey, Smooth Brains, in order to fix the housing crisis, we would need to raise minimum wage to $66 an hour. Well, he's not wrong. Because if you take $66 an hour, you times that by 2,080, that's $137,280, times that by 3, that takes you up to $411,840. So he is correct that minimum wage has to be $66 an hour for people to afford to buy the median household price home, the median house price. Except house, like everything, the median is a standard deviation curve. If 411 is the middle, 50% of the houses are cheaper than that. Holy shit, you mean prices would go up if we raised the minimum wage? Holy fuck. But he's right. But what he's trying to do is he's trying to equate two numbers, and he's dumb. This is the median household price, the median house price, and this is the income chart. I hate to tell you, and I'm not trying to be mean, but if you're here, you're not buying a house there. Just because doesn't mean you have to drink. You're a fucking idiot. Just, yes, motherfucker. When you go to a bar and you're fucking addicted, you have to drink. Rad, I'm about 2 seconds from banning you from my channel because the shit that dribbles out of your mouth is the dumbest shit. It's called addiction, motherfucker. Addiction means you have to do it because you're addicted to doing it. If it is there, you're going to drink it because you have a chemical addiction to do it. How about this, man? Shut the fuck up about things that you're not capable of understanding. Fucking deal with addiction. Be in training to be an addiction counselor. Fucking have read something more than red fish, blue fish. Holy shit, man. You are literally the walking, talking part of the problem. So here is my warning to you. Every fucking time you come here, you say fool-ass shit. The next fool-ass thing that comes out of your mouth, I'm just asking the community whether or not you're valuable. I won't pull the trigger on banning you. I'll let the community do it. And I already know how that vote's gonna go. All right? Be smarter. Instead of saying just because you go to the bar. I mean, there's other things to drink. Really, dumbass. What else is there to drink at a strip club? There's a lot of strip clubs that don't serve soda. No, there's a lot of them that don't serve soda. Because what do you have to pay to go into the strip club? 2 drink minimum. There's a lot of strip clubs that don't serve water. Why? Because they want you to buy alcohol. They don't serve water. Period. The only people they serve water to are the people that they give a cup of water to when they're kicking them out. Just so they could say, this individual got intoxicated. What we did is we gave him a solo cup of water and we put him outside the establishment. Why? To limit liability. We gave him hydration. Because for those of you that aren't familiar with all the bits and bobs and things, alcohol is a poison. Being drunk, being intoxicated is a result of your body processing the poison. Your hangover is primarily due to dehydration. Because alcohol dehydrates you. With that said, if you're a designated driver, they won't even give you water. Yes. You had to bring your own water. They'll let you walk in with a water bottle. Or they'll sell you a water bottle and water is like $5. So if you're an alcoholic and you have a choice of $1 beer or a $5 bottle of water, that's not really a choice. Anyway, I would love to stay. I would love to jam. This was foreplay. This was foreplay. I will be back tomorrow, right around noonish Eastern. Like I said, I was a dog today. I had to walk in. I had to pee on the I had to pee on the I had to pee on the pole. Thank you. I'm being pinged that I have to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm gonna be busy this week. If you haven't checked it out, my big ask for the day is swing by the new website. Since you're not getting a lot from me today, swing by the new website. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I wonder if the organic meat sack that runs this channel knows a lot of these sponsors don't sponsor us anymore.
They were longtime sponsors. The credits are fine.
Do we get paid? Is any of this sponsorship money for Gale, Daisy, the Chaos Fund?
You are